And with the warmer weather, it's certainly starting to feel like spring, which can only mean one thing. It's almost baseball season. This offseason, 3 members of the Gate City Grays took their hobby a step further and created their own business.
So the first thing is we got to put the billet on the lathe, which I've already done. But when you first put it on, it's hard to get it perfectly centered. So I got to cut it down so that it runs nice and smooth. Last year we ordered some custom bats through a company in Pennsylvania, and we thought, why can't we do that? There's a lathe at New Day. We kind of got on it and started experimenting.
It was difficult. It was a lot harder than we thought it was going to be. I personally made the bats way too big. I still have that problem sometimes. Trent made his bats way too small. So, I mean, it was trial and error from there, and I think we got it figured out now.
Gem Bats was started by Gate City Grays coach Trent Seamons, player KC Qualls, and owner Terry Fredrickson. Seamons and Qualls currently crank out 3 to 4 bats a day, and they use some of the best quality wood.
Different companies that make the billets all over the country, we look for the best steel, we look for the best wood. That's the key thing. A lot of people don't realize this, but some Major League Baseball players will actually go to where they make the bats, and they will take the raw wood and beat it against the sidewalk to see how it sounds. I mean, that's how intense they are about how their bat is, right? And so just not even how it looks, not even how it feels, but also how it sounds. So at that point, we look for the best quality wood that we can find to be able to make the best bat.
To figure out how to make the bats, they each researched and found YouTube to be one of their best sources.
We had to find out what kind of tools we needed and the general equipment that we needed. So we started small with some cheap tools and experimenting with it. A lot of the bat manufacturers kind of share a little bit of that information.
Each wood bat is different and has much more sentimental value than one made out of aluminum.
You get a personal attachment to the bats. Each one's unique in its own way. You have something different about each piece of wood. You don't share a wooden bat. That's how important it is to you, you know. It's your baby, almost. And when we make them and give them to somebody else, we want them to treat them, you know, like they made them. Of course, that's not going to happen, but we want them to get the best use they can out of each one.
Each wood bat takes about 2 hours to make, and you end up with something like this that you can use right here at the ball field. Wood bats also help to keep you honest and tell if you're really hitting that sweet spot.
I've always said aluminum bat is kind of cheating in a way. You can miss a ball, hit it inside, get jammed, hit it off the end, and still get a solid line drive, but with the wood bat you can't do that. You got to hit the sweet spot, and you got to have a good swing on it, or it's not going to work.
All 3 share a love and passion for the game of baseball, and they wanted to combine that love for the game with their love for the Gem State, hence the name Gem Bats.
The Gem State, we're all Idaho boys, born and raised. We thought, you know, that would be pretty unique.
You know, Louisville Slugger, and they're out of Louisville. Biggest bat company ever, and we're like, well, what about Idaho, the Gem State? And then we kind of came up with Gem.
Trent and Casey each have a setup in their basement at this point where they make the bats, so pretty cool.